Because the relay core is about to broadcast again, this time for the GSF. The green light turns on, and the Vel'Khareth hit the door like a battering ram. A heavy slam shakes the sealed shutter, then another. Metal groans, bolts rattle. The defenders outside aren't trying to negotiate. They're trying to crush the room before the uplink finishes. "Hold that door!" the SAAS lead barks. Two SAAS units plant themselves in front of the shutter, armor braced, weapons aimed at the seam. SSV soldiers stack behind server housings, muzzles trained on the gap where the first breach will appear. The technician's hands don't stop moving. He feeds data through the relay key, map layers, enemy comm nodes, AA positions, armor concentrations. Everything Storm Anvil has been guessing at in the smoke. Progress bar, 12%, 18%, 24%. The shutter buckles, and Vel'Khareth shock troops pour in through the gap. The door edge tears inward just enough for a shielded Vel'Khareth trooper to force an arm through. A plasma blade flashes. A grenade rolls into the room. A SAAS boot kicks it back out through the gap. The blast outside rattles the shutter again and buys one more heartbeat. Then the breach opens wider and Vel'Khareth infantry surge through, low, fast, firing blind into the haze. SSV crossfire snaps on instantly. Tracers rake the entry lane. Bodies drop in the doorway. SAAS steps into the opening like a wall, taking impacts on plating and returning heavy fire. Fire that punches through shields and shatters helmets at close range. Progress bar, 41%, 52%. The Vel'Khareth try to flank from above, catwalk access. Boots clang overhead. A hatch pops open on the upper level and Vel'Khareth troops spill onto the catwalk. Firing down into the lift. SSV teams pivot and fire upward. The catwalk rail sparks and chips. A Vel'Khareth soldier tumbles over the edge and hits the floor hard. Another tries to throw a charge. A SAAS shoulder weapon barks once and blows the catwalk section apart, dropping metal and bodies into the fall. Progress bar, 68%, 77%, 84%. The technician shouts over the gunfire. "Link is live, keep them off me." The relay finishes upload, and the whole battlefield changes in the same instant. Progress bar, 100%. The uplink chirps confirmation. Outside, Iron Warden ships in orbit receive the restored feed. Storm Anvil command nodes light up. Friendly artillery gets real coordinates. Fighter pilots see new target locks. AA sites that were ghosts become marked points. Inside the relay core room, the Vel'Khareth keep pushing. But now the GSF breach team isn't fighting blind anymore. The SAAS lead fires into the doorway and snarls into comms. "Relay is ours, light them up." And somewhere beyond the walls, Kestrel Reach answers with fresh explosions. Precise, deliberate. Because the GSF can finally see where to hit. The first corrected artillery strike lands so close, the relay room shakes. A shell slams into a Vel'Khareth staging lane outside the hub. The blast flashes through broken windows. On the tactical overlay, enemy icons flicker, then vanish. An entire reinforcement push erased. Inside, the Vel'Khareth feel it too, and they panic push on. They surge into the breach again, shields up, firing in tight bursts. SSV gunners rake the doorway. SAAS units step forward and shove bodies back into the gap, using armor mass like a battering ram. A Vel'Khareth trooper tries to wedge a charge onto the doorframe. A shotgun blast takes his arm off at the elbow, and the charge skitters away, detonating harmlessly. The hub's rooftop AA nest finally dies, hit from orbit. A bright streak tears down from the sky and impacts the roofline. The AA mount disappears in a fireball. The tremor runs through the building like a heartbeat. Immediately, GSF fighters dive lower overhead. You can hear them now, engines screaming through smoke. Because the sky is opening. Outside the hub, Vel'Khareth squads trying to regroup get caught in crossfires they didn't know existed. GSF IFVs raking streets with autocannons, SAAS squads pushing in from new angles, SSV teams popping out of side doors to cut off retreats. Progress turns into collapsing pods. Inside the relay room, the Vel'Khareth try one last trick. Smoke and flash to blind the defenders. A canister bounces in and bursts, flooding the entry with thick gray cloud. A flash pops behind it. SAAS optics compensate instantly. SSV soldiers switch to thermal and fire into the heat signatures moving through the smoke. Two shapes drop. A third stumbles forward and gets met by a SAAS punch that crushes the helmet against the wall. The Vel'Khareth breach line thins. Bodies pile in the door. The defenders don't just hold, they counterpush out of the hub. Out! Now, the SAAS lead orders. A SAAS unit stepped through the breach first, firing into the corridor, creating space. SSV follows tight behind, clearing corners, dragging wounded, planting a turret in the doorway to hold the room. They spill into the hallway and hit the Vel'Khareth from inside their own approach lane. It becomes close and fast. Muzzle flashes, bouncing casings, boots sliding on dust and blood. Outside, directed artillery and fighter strikes keep landing, fleeing, searching, cutting off reinforcements and breaking enemy strong points across the district. The relay hub isn't just a building anymore, it's a knife in the city. And with the GSF finally seeing the battlefield, Storm Anvil's push stops being survived. It becomes a hunt.